Hello and welcome once again to the Hard Brexit scenario on Football Manager 2020, where the UK has left UEFA and has left to fend for itself, creating its own Champions League and league system and whatever. Either way, we're going to have a look and see what has happened so far in the scenario. We're at the 1st of March 2022, which means we can see what's happened in the Cup Winners' Cup, and unlike last season, the Cup Winners' Cup finished on time, or at least within 2 months, which is good. And we'll have a look at that now, because it was the most open Cup Winners' Cup so far. There was no huge team. There was no Man City to win it. So what I'm going to do now is, well, it'll be a spoiler to start with, because we don't want to ruin it. We can see what happened in the final there. Gone straight to Group C for some reason there. Okay, so looking at the group stage, we can see that in Group A, Norwich were the group winners, winning every game, and they finished a good 5 points ahead of second place College 75 and Larne in third, both of them finishing on 4 points, while the Sugar Boys couldn't pick up a point. But none of those teams went through other than Norwich, because they weren't one of the best runners-up. In the same situation were PHC Zebras, who finished in second in Group B behind Celtic. Celtic winning all 3 of their games. PHC Zebras winning 2 of theirs, but the goal difference was not good enough to take them through to the semi-finals. Academy from the Cayman Islands finished third, and St George's from, I believe it's the Isle of Man or Jersey. Oh, actually, I believe it's Jersey, actually. You know what? Let's confirm it. Where are you from, St George's? Isle of Man. I was right the first time. And from Group C, Cardiff made it through with 3 wins out of 3, and Tweedmouth, the winners of the leasing.com trophy. That's it, yes, the leasing.com trophy. And their goal difference was good enough to take them through to the semi-finals, ahead of Diamond from Anguilla and Cheshire Hall from the other Caribbean country. Which one was it? From the Turks and Caicos Islands. So, in the semi-finals, we'll go to the fixtures and results section of this. So in the first semi-final, we could see, no, that's still Group C. In the first, how far did they go back? There we go. In the first semi-final, Norwich City beat Cardiff City 3-0 to make it through to their first Cup Winners' Cup final. The FA Cup winners beating the Welsh Cup winners. And then the Scottish Cup winners, Celtic, beat the leasing.com trophy winners, Tweedmouth, 3-0 to make the final themselves. Now, I would show you the goals in the final. Unfortunately, there wasn't any. So instead, it was a 0-0 draw, which went to penalties, which Celtic overcame the odds. They did it, and we can see how they did it. It was 4-3 on penalties. There was a couple missed. See, Drinkwater scored his. Cantwell, Drinkwater, and Davies scored their penalties, but Kaderabek and Martin missed theirs, while Marlon, Forrest, McGregor, and Dye scored theirs for Celtic. And apparently, Danny Welbeck plays for Celtic now. How much did they pay for him? They paid 10.5 million from Watford last season. So, big things happening. Right, what about in the Champions League? Now, last time we saw it, we saw the draws for the second round. Well, in the Brexit Champions League, they've had quite a few match days since then. I believe they're on the quarterfinals. But let's not beat around the bush here. Let's see what happened in that second round. And that is that Newcastle beat Kilmarnock. Watford eliminated Manchester United on away goals. Now, there's one we didn't see coming. The reigning champions eliminated by Watford. Leicester beat West Brom. Burnley beat Northampton. Stoke City beat Nottingham Forest. We also had Brighton eliminating Hearts. Southampton eliminating Leeds on away goals. Chelsea smashed Swindon in the end on aggregate, 6-0 on aggregate. Liverpool beat Derby over 2 legs. Dunfermline eliminated Cardiff City on aggregate. We also saw Gillingham beating Reading. Ipswich Town beating Aberdeen on away goals. Bristol City beat Ross County. Norwich City beat Celtic. In what must have been a preview of the Cup Winners' Cup final. And MK Dons lost to Peterborough, while Bournemouth eliminated Plymouth. And then in the third round, which has already happened, Brighton beat last year's finalists Newcastle. We're going to see a different final this season. Liverpool beat Bournemouth on away goals. Leicester eliminated Stoke on penalties. Chelsea beat Burnley. Ipswich beat Bristol City. Gillingham beat Dunfermline. Norwich eliminated Peterborough. And Southampton knocked out Watford on penalties. So we've got an all-English quarter-final lineup, and it looks as follows, with Norwich playing Liverpool, Brighton are against Ipswich, Chelsea v Leicester, and Gillingham v Southampton. Well, I did think it was going to be a Man U Liverpool final, or Man U Liverpool or Chelsea final, and one of those has been eliminated now, so I imagine it'll be Liverpool Chelsea. However, Watford beat Man U. Anything can happen. Norwich won the FA Cup last season. Anything could happen, and it's fun to see who is going to take those final spots. Who are we going to see the goals from at the end of the season? In the Empire League, spoiler on the quarterfinals there, but let's see what happened in the second round first. Manchester City eliminated Sunderland. Weymouth beat Greenock Morton to make it to the third round, so well done to them. Blackburn Rovers beat Carlisle. Wolves beat Raith. Everton beat Burton. Portsmouth eliminated Alloa Athletic. No long cup run for them this season. Rangers beat Crawley. Macclesfield beat Inverness Caledonian Thistle. Chesterfield eliminated Dundee United. Mansfield threw Scunthorpe United out of the competition. Hibs beat Colchester. Stevenage beat Tweedmouth. Torquay beat Peterhead. Wickham beat Hamilton. While here's one of the surprising ones. Now, the team I said would probably go through to the final, Arsenal, they got eliminated on away goals to Huddersfield Town. So again, all to play for in this one, and Bristol Rovers beat Cambridge on aggregate 5-2 in the third round, to be more precise. Man City smashed Hibs over two legs. Portsmouth beat Torquay. Rangers beat Huddersfield. Everton beat Chesterfield. Stevenage beat Weymouth. Blackburn beat Bristol Rovers. Macclesfield beat Wickham. Wolves beat Mansfield, leaving us with a quarter-final draw of Manchester City v Blackburn, Macclesfield v Rangers, Portsmouth v Stevenage, and Wolves versus Everton. Now, if Manchester City don't win this competition, I'll be surprised. I imagine it's going to be them versus Wolves or Everton in the final. Could be a repeat of last season's final. Last season we had Man City versus Everton in the final. Wolves the original runners-up. So there's plenty of Empire League pedigree in the competition still. Right, onto the real Champions League, the UEFA Champions League. There's not much to show you, if I'm honest, because they've only played one match in the second round, because they start theirs a little later on. But to give you a heads up, 1-1 between PSG and Napoli, Real Madrid beating Porto, Borussia Dortmund beating Bayer Leverkusen in the first leg, Barcelona smashing Salzburg so far, Schalke are losing to Shakhtar, Atletico Madrid are beating Bayern Munich so far. An easy first leg win for Juventus against Zenit, and Monaco and Inter Milan drawing their first leg. While in the other two competitions, major results, AC Milan beating Mechelen. We got a draw between Sociedad and Rapid Vienna from the first leg. Valencia have got the first leg have taken the advantage in the first leg against Roma, while Athletic Bilbao took a 2-0 away win against Lille in their first leg. 1-1 in the other two games at the bottom there. And in the Europa Conference League, Eibar got a decent win over Antwerp, but not as good as Lazio's win over Radnik. Plus, got CSK Moscow getting a decent win over Thun. Köln have got only a one-goal advantage over Vojvodina and Nantes. They're 1-1 against Mura so far. All to play for. Right, we're going to go and have a look at the leagues now. We'll take a brief look at the normal Scottish leagues. We can see here that Dundee are 3 points clear of Dundee United in the Angus Premiership. Montrose a little bit behind them, and Arbroath and Forfar also in the running still as well. It's not over in Angus just yet. Ayrshire, Kilmarnock, it is probably over there though. They've got a 14-point lead over Ayr United. Kilmarnock have won every match so far, and it's only a matter of time before they're confirmed as champions. While in Central Scotland, Alloa Athletic, they are top only by 1 point. 1 point ahead of Falkirk. Stenhousemer only 2 points further on than that. So it's a battle between those three to take the top honours in Central Scotland, while in Dumfries and Galloway, there's only 1 point in it there as well, with Queen of the South 1 point clear of Stranraer, although Queen of the South do have a game in hand. And Annan Athletic a little bit behind them. Fife, we can see that Dunfermline Athletic are 8 points ahead of East Fife. Kelty Hearts dropping off down to 4th this season, but it's still a valiant effort and they're nowhere near the bottom. In Glasgow, Celtic and Rangers, they've still yet to catch up on their fixtures, and therefore they're still not quite at the top of the table just yet. Although Celtic have dropped points for the first time this season. They drew 0-0 with Rangers in their return fixture. However, Rangers still above them because they've played 2 more games and therefore have slightly more points. Dumbarton are top at the moment with they're 5 points clear of Partick Thistle, although I'm sure they'll both get overtaken later on in Grampian. Aberdeen, they've got several games in hand but are still top of the league by 3 points, ahead of Cove Rangers, who have a good 5 games over Aberdeen at the moment. Elgin City and Peterhead also they're not even in the running. I'd say Cove Rangers are pretty much guaranteed at the moment that Empire League spot. In the Highlands and the Islands, Inverness, Caledonian and Thistle are 9 points clear at the top, ahead of Ross County, but Ross County have 3 games in hand, and that could be those 9 points they need to catch up with Inverness, Caledonian, Thistle. Lanarkshire, it's a 10-point lead for Motherwell ahead of Hamilton Academical. So that one's looking wrapped up at the moment. Airdrie United only a point behind Hamilton as well. In Lothian, the Edinburgh Derby, we can see that Hibs have 4 games in hand over Hearts, which once they play all of them, they'll probably overtake them if they win them all. And we can see that then Hibs can try and take the title back over from Hearts. Did Hibs win the first season? Yes, so they swapped around last season. Can they swap back? Livingston holding on to their customary 3rd place, although they're only 2 points behind Hibs at the moment until Hibs play all their games. In Perthshire, it is already over, as is customary for this time of season. St Johnstone have a 100% record and have smashed it. They're 30 points clear over Kinnoul, and imagine it could get even more. You never know. Renfrewshire, 2 of the playoff places there have been decided. Obviously, this one is slightly different to the rest of them, with the top 4 going into a playoff series, or semi-finals and final to be more precise. St Mirren and Morton, the ones that usually have cemented their place in the playoffs by now, have done so. Clydebank are probably going to join them. Arthurlie, not guaranteed just yet. They're only 4 points clear, and I believe they have... I'm not sure how many. I think they've still got like 7 or 8 games left, I believe. I think it goes up to 30. Scottish Borders, Vale of Leven are currently heading the way by a single point over Garliff Airy Rovers. Then there's a big gap between them and 3rd. In the Scottish, we'll skip through these. Pause them if you want to see properly. But in the Scottish FA Cup, we're on the semi-final stage. If we skip back to, I think, the 6th round where we were at last time, we can see there the holders, Celtic, being eliminated on penalties by Ross County. We're going to see a new winner of the Scottish Cup for the first time since this scenario started. Joining them in the next round were Dundee, Queen of the South, Kilmarnock, Forfar, Rangers, Hibs and Aberdeen. And then in the quarterfinals, we can see that Kilmarnock beat Queen of the South. Hibs eliminated Rangers after extra time. Aberdeen beat Forfar and Ross County beat Dundee. So we're not even going to see a Glasgow team winning the Scottish Cup this season. We've got Aberdeen v Kilmarnock and Ross County versus Hibernian in the semi-finals. It's an interesting year, and one of those teams will be playing next season's Cup Winners' Cup for the very first time. In the League Cups, we can see here we're at the semi-final stage. There, Dundee v Dundee United in the semi-finals as well. So that one is going to see an interesting or a different team in the final. Kilmarnock, they're playing Kilburney Ladeside and will probably win that and will probably win the competition. In Central Scotland, Alloa Athletic, they're still in it. They've got Stirling, Camelon v Stenhousemuir, no Falkirk. So Alloa Athletic, they've got smooth sailing to try and win it. In Dumfries and Galloway, we can see there the semi-final. All 3 of the big teams still in it. Well, 3 of the big teams are still in it. In Fife, Kelty Hearts, they're in the running. Can they do it? They're against the 3 other big teams in the county are there to try and stop them. Glasgow Rangers and Celtic separate. They could be playing in the final. Probably will be playing in the final. In Grampian, Aberdeen, Cove Rangers, 1st and 2nd, they're separated. We'll probably see them 2 play in the final. In Highlands and Islands, no Inverness, Caledonian, Thistle there, so Ross County could have plain sailing to go and retain the trophy there. While in Lanarkshire, they're at the semi-final stage as well. East Kilbride, Motherwell, could be seeing them 2 in the final. No Hamilton Academical though. Lothian, Hearts and Hibs, they're both separated. Can Livingston and Edinburgh City cause upsets and make us not have a Edinburgh Derby competitor in the final, not unless you count Edinburgh City being part of that derby. In Perthshire, we knew I believe we knew the final some time ago. St Johnstone versus Kinnoul. In Renfrewshire, St Mirren v Morton in the final there. And in the Scottish Borders League Cup, there's still one match day left to play in their group stage. Although in Group A, we already know who's going through. It's Gala Ferrydean Rovers, the reigning champions, and it'll be either Vale of Leven or Coldstream joining them in the final. Also in the Tunnocks Carabao UEFA Challenge Cup, we can see who's in the quarterfinals here. Little bit of a shout out for these teams: Colville Park versus Newmains United, Bonus United v Hermes, Darvel versus Musselburgh Athletic, and East End versus St Ternan. What about in Wales? I'll have a quick flick through through the Welsh competitions. Clwyd, we can see there, Wrexham are top by 2 points ahead of Connors Quay. This is probably the closest this competition's been in years. Could Connors Quay cause an upset and take the trophy? Dyford, Abererun, they're looking like they're going to retain their trophy this season, 9 points clear of Llanelli Town, and then a big gap between second and third. So Abererun, they're having a good go of it. In Gwent, Newport County have already won the league. They are almost 30 points clear at the top, ahead of Truro, and it's a battle for the Empire League spots now. In Gwynedd, Bangor City, they have a 9-point lead over Bala Town. Bala Town have a game in hand, but it won't catch up with Bangor unless Bangor have a serious drop-off. Mid Glamorgan, Merthyr Town, they are almost 30 points clear at the top. It's a matter of when, not if, Merthyr Town retain the Mid Glamorgan Premier Division title. In Powys, Gillsfield are top, 3 points ahead of Newtown. Could we be seeing a new champion in Powys? I think Newtown have won the last two, and Gillsfield were third placed 2 years ago, but can they go two better this time round? In South Glamorgan, Cardiff, still not named as champions yet, but it's fairly certain it's going to happen. They've still got a 100% record. They still haven't conceded a goal. Barrytown leading the rest, and they're 21 points clear of third place. So Barry, I imagine, will be taking that Empire League spot as well. In West Glamorgan, Swansea, they are top. They are 18 points clear, I believe, of Afan Lido in second. They also still have a 100% record and still haven't conceded a goal in a while, I don't think. No, not in the last 10 at least. Neath are 7 points behind Afan Lido, but Afan Lido do have a game in hand, so I imagine they could be closing in on that Empire League spot. In the Championship and all the other ones, stop it if you want to have a look. And we now stop at the Welsh Cup. See who's still in there. Lots of Clwyd divisions there. We'll have a look at the quarterfinals for this one. And we can see Cardiff beating Swansea. Barry are through. Cardiff beat Swansea, meaning one of the big teams are out. Bala beat Crannog and Wrexham beat Pennybont. We're missing Newport County there. So we're looking at slightly different, although Cardiff, the reigning champions, are still there. Barrytown United v Bala Town, Wrexham v Cardiff. We're going to be seeing, for the first time, is it an actual League of Wales team in the final since the change? Yeah. So who knows? In the League Cups, we'll just flick through these quickly to see who's there. Give you an idea, because we're not going to see any of these in the next edition. South Glamorgan, Cardiff playing Cardiff Met, and Swansea have got Pontedar. I think that's how you pronounce it. No second tier competition in Wales, so it's over to England and see how that is going. And we can see that in Bedfordshire, we have Luton, who have a massive lead over Leighton Town in second, and Biggleswade Town for that matter. They're both on 69 points, with Leighton only leading on goal difference. Biggleswade Town can still make it to that Empire League spot. You never know. Luton pretty much guaranteed the title, though. In Berkshire, Reading are 8 points clear of Maidenhead United. Still got a 100% record of Reading, so I imagine they will be retaining anytime soon as it's mathematically impossible for Maidenhead to catch them, of course. In Bristol and Gloucestershire, Bristol City still top, but they're only top by 4 points. Forest Green can still catch them in the next 7 or 8 games. The season is not over. Cheltenham also have a slight chance with 52 points, and Bristol Rovers on 50, and then there's a big gap between 4th and 5th. In Buckinghamshire, there's some separation now. Wycombe have taken the lead. It's no longer equal footing as MK Dons dropped points against Aylesbury Vale, meaning Wycombe Wanderers have now got a decent chance to take that title unless MK Dons can beat them on their return game. Obviously, the two teams played at Stadium MK with a 1-1 draw. If MK Dons can win at Wycombe, then they might stand a chance of retaining their title. In Cambridgeshire, Peterborough United, they are 7 points ahead of Cambridge United currently, which means they're probably in pole position to retain the Cambridge Premier Division. But Cambridge's spot, they could get caught by Peterborough North Star if they're not careful. So you never know what could happen in Cambridge Premier Division. In Cheshire, it's still equal. Crewe are only top on the fact that they've scored 2 more goals than Macclesfield have. But Macclesfield do have a game in hand and will overtake Crewe if they win that, with Crewe's loss to Congleton way earlier in the season being a bit of a deal breaker there for them. Cornwall Truro, they haven't won it yet. They are going to win it. They are 24 points clear at the top, but they haven't won it yet. Bodmin, the best of the rest, on 42 points, 2 points clear of St Blaise. In Cumbria, it's a 12-point gap currently for Barrow Town. No, not Barrow Town, Barrow, on just Barrow FC, isn't it? But it's a 12-point gap between them and Carlisle. I'd be very surprised now if Carlisle can catch them and try and regain the Cumbria Premier Division, but it seems it's Barrow's to lose at the moment. Barrow have lost the game though to Carlisle away, but it's probably a little too late for them. Derbyshire, Derby County, 10 points clear of Chesterfield in second, and then a big gap between second and third. Devon, Plymouth Argyle, they're 3 points clear of Exeter City, so the big two really, with Torquay lagging 10 points behind Exeter. Tiverton are the best of the rest in that division, while in Dorset, Bournemouth are doing what they do, 100% record, 66 points, and 10 points clear of Weymouth in second, who are having a good season. They got to the third round of the Empire League, so decent season for them, and they look on course to getting another shot at the Empire League as well. In Durham, Darlington are 2 points clear of Hartlepool, who are 2 points clear of Spennymoor, who are 2 points clear of Stockton, who are 8 points clear of Thornaby. So it's the top 4 that are all within 6 points of each other. So it's not over in Durham just yet. Essex, Southend United have built up a 7-point lead over Colchester United, and Billericay have dropped back. They've lost a few more games, and now Billericay sitting third, 1 point behind Colchester. So unlucky for Billericay, but it's not over. They can still take the Empire League spot away from Colchester United. Greater London, and things have changed. Last time we looked here, there were 17 games in and Arsenal had a 100% record. Well, as you can see, Arsenal now sit in second and have dropped points in 2 games and now have a pretty similar record to Chelsea, who have the same record, except Chelsea have a much better goal difference. So it's looking like Chelsea can retain now unless Arsenal can pull something out the hat. Arsenal's loss was against Chelsea. The two teams have beaten each other basically, while both drawing games. Spurs in a disappointing 5th place at the moment, and they have just sacked their manager, who was a Czech manager from the Czech Republic. So clearly not as good as Jose Mourinho possibly. West Ham sitting in 3rd, but there's way too big a gap for them to catch up at all at the moment. Greater Manchester, Man U sitting pretty at the top. Man City have a game in hand, but if they win that game in hand, they're still 3 points behind the reigning champions. Surprisingly, Man City have yet to win this competition, apart from the initial versions where I just needed to put a team as champions in order to have a team in the Brexit Champions League. Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, and you can see that Southampton have a 5-point lead over Portsmouth, with Eastleigh lagging 6 points behind Portsmouth. Herefordshire, we have some champions. Hereford are 39 points clear of Westfields, which some time ago was enough for them to win the league. So they have another 80 million coming their way and another spot in the Brexit Champions League. In Hertfordshire, Watford, 12 points clear of Stevenage. They haven't got a 100% record, but it's still good enough. They're going to win the league. London Colney, a team promoted in this first season, are now sitting pretty as the best of the rest, even ahead of Boreham Wood, so well done to them. In Kent, Gillingham have a substantial lead over Ebbsfleet in second and Dover in third, with Maidstone lagging 15 points behind them in fourth. In Lancashire, Burnley, they are pretty much going to win the title. They're going to retain. Blackburn are fighting tooth and nail to win the Empire League spot, as they are 12 points behind Burnley. Preston, only 3 points behind them. Morecambe, 4 points behind them. So it's going to be probably between Blackburn and Preston for that second place. Leicestershire and Leicestershire and Rutland to be more precise. And Leicester are top, 100% record, loads of goals scored, and a 17-point lead over Barwell. Not over yet. It's not guaranteed just yet. It probably will be in the next couple of weeks. Lincoln City are leading the Lincolnshire Premier Division, not 100% record anymore, but they do have a 10-point lead over Grimsby, 83 points to 73 points, and then there's a decent gap between Grimsby and Scunthorpe as well, so I imagine that's your top two kind of guaranteed now. Merseyside, it's not looking good for Liverpool this season. They've had the return game against Everton, and it finished 1-1. Everton now have played smooth sailing to try and win their Merseyside Premier Division for the first time, because all the rest of the matches are going to be against teams from here. The only teams that can stop them would be Tranmere and Southport, but have they already played twice? I don't actually know. There's only one way to find out, and that's to wait until the next episode to find out who wins the Merseyside Premier Division. In Norfolk, Norwich, 100% record, smashing it. Galston in second on 53, with Kings Lynn in third on 47. So Galston looking to take their first Empire League spot. Northampton Town, they are 8 points clear of Brackley Town in second, with AFC Rushden and Diamonds a distant third. Northumberland, Tweedmouth, they've built up a fairly decent lead. 9 points they are ahead of Blythe Spartans now. So I imagine Tweedmouth are going to regain the Northumberland Premier Division. We'll find out in the coming weeks. While in Nottinghamshire, it is down to goal difference. 2 goals to be more precise. Both Mansfield and Nottingham Forest are on 66 points. But Mansfield have a game in hand and have yet to lose, unlike Nottingham Forest, who have lost. Notts County are only 2 points behind both of them as well. There is all to play for in Nottinghamshire in the last few weeks of the season. Oxford United are top with a 100% record in Oxfordshire. They have a 7-point lead over Oxford City. Oxford City not too far behind, but I imagine it's Oxford are going to, United are going to win the division again. In Shropshire, Shrewsbury have a 3-point lead. It's only 3 points currently between them and AFC Telford United, and another 3 points between them and TNS, and then a big gap between third and fourth. It's 6 points between the top 3 teams. It could go down to the wire. It may not do. Who knows? Somerset, Yeovil have a 14-point lead over Paulton, so that one is probably decided. Paulton currently 3 points ahead of Bath in the race for second place. In Staffordshire, Stoke City, they still lead the way, still have a 100% record, have scored 119 goals in those games, and they're 3 points clear of Burton in second. Burton only losing 1 game. When they play the return leg, that's going to be a title decider. Well, it's not really unless Burton win it 20-0, but you know what I mean. There's not too much between them and Port Vale as well. Tamworth very far away in fourth. Suffolk, we have our next champion, Ipswich, who have a 100% record and have already won the league with 102 points gained. They've only conceded 2 goals all season and have a massive gap between them and Bury Town, who are 3 points clear of AFC Sudbury in the race for second place. Got it right that time. In Surrey, Woking are top by 13 points and will probably win the title in the next few match days, potentially. Dorking are 11 points clear in second, so probably guaranteed their Empire League spot. Sussex, Brighton are 10 points ahead of Crawley in second, and they are a decent distance ahead of Lewis in third. While in Tyne and Wear, Newcastle, they've got a 100% record still. Sunderland still in second, only losing one game against the top team and reigning champions. And when they play each other next, that I would say would be a title decider. But just like the other one with Stoke and Burton, the goal difference is so big that Newcastle will have to drop games in 2 matches in order for Sunderland to realistically catch them. Warwickshire, Stratford have done it again. From the looks of things, they have overtaken Leamington. Leamington were top last time, but Stratford have smashed it and are 7 points clear now of Leamington, with Nuneaton not far behind them. Can Nuneaton grab that second place from Leamington? West Midlands, here's where it gets juicy. Aston Villa, they are 6 points clear of West Brom and could be closing in on their first ever West Midlands Premier Division title. Wolves, they are only 3 points behind West Brom and have a game in hand and a better goal difference. So they win that match, they overtake the reigning champions. Birmingham are fourth, they're only 1 point behind Wolves. Then you've got a bit of a gap between them and Coventry, Solihull and Walsall, and so on. Wiltshire, Swindon, they're smashing it. They've got a massive gap between them and second place Chippenham, and third place Salisbury. Chippenham and Salisbury both on 69 points. Worcestershire, Kidderminster, 10 points clear. They've not guaranteed the title yet, but it's only a matter of time. Redditch are a decent amount of points ahead of Overchurch in third. Yorkshire, another one where it's getting juicy. The title is between the top two, Sheffield United and Huddersfield Town. Sheffield United have 72, Huddersfield have 71. Huddersfield have a game in hand, and there's still quite a few. There's still 8 games left of the season, apart from Huddersfield, who have 9. Hull are sitting in third on 67. Barnsley on 66. Leeds and Middlesbrough both on 65. Rotherham on 62. Sheffield Wednesday on 60. There is so much going on in this division. It's the best one by far, with who could win what and what not. So a quick flick through the lower tiers. Stop if you actually want to see it. Leyton Orient forgot to check. Leyton Orient, they're guaranteed playoffs now. Pretty sure they're going to get promoted any day now. Granny Manchester, yeah, as I said, pause it if you want to have a proper look at it, or just wait a few months till I post it on Twitter. Then we can see here. There we go. In the FA Cup, let's skip back a round, or no, let's stick to this one. So in the 7th round, Bournemouth beat Preston, Stoke beat Watford, Arsenal beat Sheffield United, Liverpool beat Aston Villa, Leeds beat Rotherham, all away wins, and we're still yet to find out who's going to win between Ipswich and Man City, Port Vale and Leicester, and Sheffield Wednesday and Everton. While the quarterfinal draw is looking as follows: Bournemouth v Arsenal, Sheffield Wednesday or Everton against Ipswich or Man City, Liverpool v Leeds and Stoke versus Port Vale or Leicester. We could see a Potteries derby, Stoke v Port Vale, although it's more likely that Leicester will win that one. I'm going to make a bold prediction at the final being Arsenal versus Leicester, because you never know what's going to happen in this competition. In the League Cups, Bedfordshire, we can see there the semi-finals. All the it's Biggleswade Town, not Biggleswade. So two of the top teams are in the semi-finals, being separated as well. Reading and Maidenhead probably going to be making the final in the Berkshire League Cup. Bristol and Gloucestershire. I'm looking at a Bristol City Forest Green final, with all respect to Bishop Cleeve and Gloucester City. Buckinghamshire, we know the final now, with MK Dons playing Wickham. Cambridgeshire, Peterborough and Cambridge both being separated in the semi-finals, so we'll probably see them two play in the final. Cheshire, Macclesfield v Chester, Crewe v Congleton. So the 3 big teams plus Congleton, who have the win over the top team in the league. In the final of the Cornwall League Cup, Truro play Saltash. We'll see who wins that in a couple of months' time. Cumbria, we've also got the final there. Whitehaven v Barrow. The reigning champions Carlisle have been eliminated. Was that in the semi-final? Yes, it was, against the former winners Barrow. Derbyshire, Derby playing Belper, Chesterfield v Alfreton. So we've got a Derby are probably going to win the cup there. In Devon, Plymouth play Exeter in the final. The two biggest teams in Devon playing each other in the final. Dorset, Bournemouth versus Poole. So I imagine Bournemouth will be retaining that one. In the semi-finals of the Durham League Cup, it's Stockton v Spennymoor, Hartlepool v Billingham Town. Essex, we've got Braintree, Concord, Aveley, Chelmsford. While in Greater London, we'll skip back around for this one and see what happened there. With Fulham beating Palace, Millwall beat Charlton, Chelsea beat Dagenham and Redbridge, West Ham beat Tottenham, giving us a semi-final lineup of Fulham v Millwall, West Ham v Chelsea. That one looks interesting. Greater Manchester, Man United and City have been kept apart in the semi-finals, so imagine those two will be in the final. While Portsmouth and Aldershot, no Southampton in there. Portsmouth probably going to win the tournament then. Watford have got London Colney. The best four teams in the Hertfordshire League Cup are playing each other in the semi-finals, which is always good. Should show some competitive spirit. In Kent, Ebbsfleet against Dartford, Folkestone v Dover. Where are Gillingham? A new winner in that one from the looks of things. Lancashire, that's a good looking lineup too, with Blackburn v Fleetwood, Burnley v Preston. Leicester have Barwell and then will beat Loughborough Uni or Colville in the final, I imagine. Lincolnshire, all the three big teams in that county are all there alongside Grantham. While in Merseyside, the four best teams in Merseyside are playing each other, with the two best ones being kept separate until the final, I imagine, unless Tranmere and Southport are going to pull off a shock for us. In Norfolk, Norwich play Wroxham in the final. Northamptonshire, we've got Northampton and then everyone else. We know Northampton are probably going to win that one. Nottingham Forest and Mansfield have been kept apart in the semi-finals of Nottinghamshire's League Cup. While in Oxfordshire, it's Oxford against the rest. I imagine Oxford United against the rest. The main teams are in that. TNS play Shrewsbury in the final of the Shropshire League Cup. While in Somerset, Yeovil will play Bath and then beat the team in the other semi-final, I imagine. Staffordshire, the two top teams, Burton and Stoke, clash in the semi-finals for the right to play Tamworth or Leek in the final. In Suffolk, Ipswich are missing once again, and the reigning champions are missing as well. So we're going to see a new winner of this competition. Mildenhall, Felixstowe, Needham Market, or Bury Town could be taking home the Suffolk League Cup. In Surrey, Woking still in it, and they will probably win it, judging from previous experience. In Sussex, we've got Brighton v Hastings, Lewis v Whitehawk, no Crawley Town to be seen. Oh, skipped Tyne Weir there. It's Newcastle v Sunderland in the semi-finals of the League Cup once again. I think that's 3 years in a row they've played in the semi-finals. The winner plays North Shields or Gateshead. While in Warwickshire, we know who's in the final, but they haven't announced it yet. Leamington v Stratford for the 3rd season running. If we see here. Yeah, it's time for the rubber match, apparently. West Midlands, Wolves v West Brom, Sporting Calcer v Aston Villa. The reigning champions have been eliminated. Wolves are looking to win their second tournament, or win the tournament for the second time. Swindon Town have been eliminated from the Wiltshire League Cup early once again, meaning Swindon Supermarine could be retaining. They play Laverstock and Ford, while Amesbury play Chippenham. In Worcestershire, Redditch v Kidderminster in the final of the League Cup. Then in Yorkshire, this is a juicy semi-final lineup. Leeds United v Bradford City, and Middlesbrough versus two-time winners Huddersfield Town, who will go on to the final. Find out next time, or we'll find out who won it next time. Well, not next time, but in a couple of episodes' time. Finally, in the Leasing.com trophy, they're still in the 5th round, and we can see here that some of the big teams, or some of the top-tier teams are still in it. Tweedmouth, Blythe, Westfields, Uyas Harold, Hereford and Morpeth, they're all still in there, and one of them's probably going to win it. Unless Leyton Orient have something to say about it. They play Clitheroe. Plus, we also have the lowest ranked team still in the competition, and that is Cribbs and Beckenham Town. Either way, that is it. So I hope you've enjoyed. Next time, we'll be seeing... It's our annual... I say annual... the 6th edition of every season. It's the league winners roll call. We're going to go through every single league winner and see who has qualified for the Brexit Champions League and taken the Empire League spot. So until then, like, subscribe, and rock on.